Welcome everyone back to another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle video. My name is DFree. Here today we're taking a look at several SSR cards that do max out at level 100 because they're SSRs, right? And they need to get that TUR status, that level 120 upgrade. Hope you guys enjoy, of course. Hit that subscribe if you are new for more content. I've been really enjoying the discussions this week, so if you have been enjoying them as well, make sure you leave a thumbs up. If you guys want to see more, let me know what you want to discuss down below in the comments as well, and I'll be picking some of you guys' ideas as well to just keep giving you guys these ideas. That being said, we're going to go ahead and jump into it. So, all right, so the first card I have listed here is the Elusive Beast. Dun, dun, dun. This is the awakening for the SR cell that I'm sure you guys pull like every other multi right here. So very common card to pull right there. So he actually has had an awakening for a very, very long time. 2016 on JP and then 2017 on Global. It has been quite some time. He does not have a TUR status yet, though. But if we take a look at him, he actually has one of the highest recoveries based on damage dealt in the game. So the only ones that are higher, there are other characters that do 30%, and then there's one that's higher at 33%, which is LRB Pan. So really, that's not a bad passive to start off with. But I think that if we were to make the most out of this character, it just kind of depends on what they want to do. If you look at his link set, right, he has Flee, which is whatever. Messenger from the Future is an attack link. Attack of the Clones is a cell-based key link, if I recall correctly. He has another attack link, which is Kamehameha. He has Big Bad Bosses. He has the Wall Standing Tall, which is another attack link. So he has a lot of good attack links. He even has Formidable Enemy. I'm going to not really discuss this here because I'm going to actually do a video talking about links that have been forgotten by the game. That's one of them that I'm going to kind of bring up. Long story short, that's not really anything that's going to proc here. So anyways, maybe you just give him a defense-based passive extension, right? If you were to awaken him, he might get 33, to be honest. I think that he would get 33. If you take a look at another card that does 30% that I actually really am very fond of is this guy here. Now, this guy is almost the exact same card. Literally the exact same card, just more modern. That's it. Just more modern. Number of months later, the same card, literally. So the leader skill 3 key and 50% to attack and defense. This guy might pick that up literally, right? It's almost the exact same thing I probably expect from him. He does supreme damage while this guy does extreme. Obviously, this guy is going at least up to supreme damage. I don't think he's going immense, though, at all. Other than that, rare chance to stun the enemy, which is, I believe, a 20%, yep, 20% chance. And also doesn't do anything but heal. And has a bunch of attack links, including but not limited to some of the same links like the Wall Standing Tall. So a ton of attack links. Obviously, this guy needs an awakening, too. He's not really on my list. Just an example for what Cell could look like if he was just a little bit more modern. One thing that is a problem with Cell is that since he is an SR, basically. By the way, on a side note, his key multiplier is really bad. 130 is just really bad. But one thing that is important to note, right? Well, again, stuff like this can be updated, so whatever. But the stat gain is horrendous. He's getting that plus 3,000 or so stat gain. It's just bad. He doesn't even hit 10,000 attack or HP at 100% currently. So obviously the numbers would go above that, but keeping that stat gain would just make him, I guess, marginal. It would just make him decent. But what I would say is that with these links, he does pair alongside any cell unit basically in the game very well, right? The ones that have the Wall Standing Tall, particularly, any of those other ones, unfortunately, that's mainly a Boo link, as you see, but he can link pretty well with this cell here, for example, and just make use on an extreme tech team. Otherwise, he'd be a viable option as a like third or fourth option replacement on some of the other categories he's applicable to. And I would like for Artificial Life Forms to just get more units, right? There's a lot of units in here, but not, this is mainly what you're looking at right here, the TURs and stuff. Not a whole lot, right? So one day we'll see what happens, but it's just nice to have more options. So there you go. Hopefully he does awaken. They could add in some sort of attack increase. My experience with these types of units is he's not going to get an attack increase because none of the other ones basically do. So, you know, actually we can double check that really quick. There's a number of different types of healing. I'm not going to talk about all of them, just one similar to this one. So if you look at the list here, like, yeah, none of these units get attack increases. Do you get an attack increase? I think you have only this passive. Yep. They don't, and they're all old except for B-Pan, but B-Pan technically gets an attack increase with the active skill, but that's one time, right? So I wouldn't even consider her. So it's not very common that they get any sort of attack increases. All right. We have Convulsing Rage Super Saiyan Goku. Dokkan literally forgot about this card. I believe this is the oldest card in the game that does not have a Dokkan Awakening to this point. For that matter, this card and a few others on the list are not even available on summon banners anymore. They have literally taken them off of banners. I believe the last banner this card was on was in 2017. It's been a while, man. It's been a long time, and he's, again, probably the oldest card in the game, still waiting for an awakening. If you want to see a showcase of this guy, I did one maybe about 3 or 4 months ago. I'll leave that down below for you guys to check out. And it's actually pretty funny, the irony of this card. So, extreme damage, obviously, Supreme, I don't think he's going immense, just because immense is almost exclusive on Rebirths or TUR status, unless he gets Fierce Battle, I'd say, but I don't think he would get that. Also, on a side note, apparently, at 100% still has a horrendous stat gain. So 5,000 defense goes up to 8,000 or so. 9,000 attack goes up to 12,000. This isn't, I guess it's not so bad. It's a lot easier for him than it is for Cell to manage, right? It's a lot easier. Oh, you know what? I think I'm looking at this wrong. Never mind. Was I doing it wrong for Cell too? No. So this makes more sense. Cell was fine. He was getting the 3,000. But what I was looking at is the 55 versus the 100. So no, I was going to say, like, that doesn't make any sense. He's a premium card. So yeah, he does get the 7,000 up to 12,000. Very good bonus, actually. This card could be quite good, actually. So Supreme Damage, I would like to see an attack raise on Super. An attack raise on Super would be very nice. I don't care about leader skills. Not going to talk about them too much. Because unless they get a category leader skill like Mai did, which, I mean, it's possible, right? Then it just doesn't matter. So anyways, other than that, we scroll down here, the passive. So he gets 50% attack when ki is 5 or more. If we look at another character that recently got an awakening, in fact, that had the ki meter mechanic, there's a couple of them. You know, the Easy A for the Gohan, but also if we take a look at the GT Goku. So he had a similar mechanic. So let's actually take a look at his base one. It was actually 3 ki and 7,000, excuse me, 70 would be dope. 7,000 when ki is 9 or above, right? So that actually gets updated to 3 ki and 100% when ki is 9 or above. So I don't know if he's going to pick up self-sufficiency. I think self-sufficiency would be the best thing that could happen for him, unless the Awakening does add in Prepare for Battle, which, spoilers, I do think it would, right? Because he's just so old. This card basically predates links like Prepare for Battle. It didn't exist at the time. So he should get that. And Shattering the Limit if they want to give him more ki, but I don't want that. I want Fierce Battle. Make it happen. So other than that, though, he doesn't need to change too much here. I think 100% is fine, actually, if they double this to 100 and give him some form of defense. Now, this Goku he's a little different. He just plays differently. He gets the defense on super attack, basically, and it sustains for a few turns. But other than that, I wouldn't like that, like, for this. I would like for him to get, I don't know, how would they, the ones that have the ki meter ones, they're kind of weird because even if we look at the Gohan, it's like both stats, or for the Gohan in particular, are dependent on getting both the ki meter above a certain number, right? So ki plus 5, attack plus 80, and defense plus 40. They could do something very similar to this, actually, for that Convulsing Rage Goku, where when he's above 5, he gets both, right? So we'll see what happens. And 5, by the way, is very easy, because on any team, basically, that has Golden Warrior, he automatically starts off at 7, right? So he's able to get that easily. Under any 3 ki lead, this is fine. So I could see them actually making this 7, because at the time, 5 was kind of hard to get because you didn't have a lot of ki leaders, right? They might make this 7 and actually make because it doesn't matter, because he still automatically basically gets that anyway. It doesn't matter what it is. But they could allow for him to super early. That'd be really nice. If he got ki on it, like the Gohan and like the GT Goku, that'd be really nice, man, because it would allow for him to super early. All right, our next unit on our list is Super Saiyan Goten. Spoiler, we do have Trunks on the list as well. I'm just waiting for these cards to awaken. They're pretty solid as is, actually. They're decent. They just really need that awakening, man. So we take a look at the super attack. Supreme damage raises allies' attack by 20% for 1 turn. I'm guessing that jumps up to 30 and nothing else changes with that. Other than that, though, we take a look at the passive skill. Attack plus 80%. Just bump it up to 100. And he has a high chance to reduce damage received by 40%. High chance generally equates to 50%. There is no note here, so I don't know exactly what his is. Generally, it equates to 50% with some situational units that can get higher than that, right? But reducing damage received by 40% is pretty good. But I've talked about in videos how having mitigation without any sort of natural defense isn't so great. So what I would like to see is 100% attack and 40% defense at the start of the turn. And then from there, he can keep the high chance to reduce damage received by 40%. They can even bump this up to 50, and that would be nice. So it's 50-50, right? 50% chance and 50% rate, right? So At that point, you have a unit that's actually a very well-versed unit in offense and defense. He fits very well. And then if we take a look at this unit individually, one thing that's cool about Goten and Trunks cards is they have access to things like Budding Warrior. So Budding Warrior is an attack link you can proc on all these cards, some of them better than others, but we have most notably these two at the top. And then for your JP players, we have access to this guy. So, you know, you can do little stuff like that, so it does help. That's another good attack link that these units will have. I imagine this card would pick up Rebirth, but I would love for him to get Fierce Battle, and then you have almost the ideal link set. Actually, hold on, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, he has enough. He has one more spot, so Fierce Battle ideally. But he has a really good link set for any team, actually. Golden Warrior, check. Super Saiyan, check. Kamehameha, check. Innocence and Budding Warrior, not so common, but if they're applicable, fine. Prepare for Battle, and then and/or Fierce Battle, right? He fits perfectly in that scenario. Now, you're not supposed to be here, but okay. He's on the list, but he wasn't supposed to be next. It was supposed to be the other Trunks. So, you know, actually, the other Trunks is right here. Okay. So, let me do the Trunks first, and then we'll come to the other one. Super Attack, again, Supreme Damage 30% for 1 turn. Attack plus 80% up to 100%. And he reduces damage received by 40% when guard is activated. Buff that up to 50, right? But this one's actually a little different because he only can guard well against AGL types. When you have type advantage, you automatically take reduced damage anyway, but he even further cuts it. So he almost takes no damage from AGL units in a specific scenario, right? And again, picking up Fierce Battle, having access to Super Saiyan, Golden Warrior, Prepare for Battle, and or Fierce Battle is basically the ideal link set for Saiyan characters in the game. And of course, you can have other stuff in there, but that's very generic, right? It fits on almost every team, right? So other than that, links I don't think change too much from Goten's. It's the exact same scenario, actually. He even has the Kamehameha, by the way, so he's great alongside Goten because they proc all those links. So 100%. I kind of want him to have a defense boost too, but I don't want him to be the exact same card as Goten. You know what? The thing is, they're already the same card. It's just the guards that they have is different. Like, he's actually able to do it all the time versus AGL. Goten can do it versus any event, but it's just situational. It's just a chance to do it. So I guess maybe you just give him that 40 or 50% defense, just like Goten, 100% attack, 30% on the super attack as well, and you just go from there. Do the same exact thing, and because whatever, they're already the same card for the most part. All right, so Super Saiyan 2 Trunks, I have no idea why this card hasn't awoken yet. You know the funny thing about this card, I always thought it was funny, was because at the time he came out, the Super Saiyan 2 Trunks just hadn't happened yet because it was prior to the Super Anime having that happen, right? So there was no such thing as Super Saiyan 2 Future Trunks, except for in Heroes, right? And he's not a Heroes limited character. So I always thought that was really funny. I wonder what the logistics were for this card when it came to getting him out there. It's just like, oh, we'll just drop a random Super Saiyan 2 Trunks, right? So he actually has some very decent makings. Let me go ahead and explain this. So all types get attack plus 25%. In 2015, 2016, that was one of the best leader skills in the game. We come down, we look at the super attack, supreme damage already. Supreme damage, he doesn't even awaken. At this time, that's awesome. I'll take it. Supreme damage and raises attack for 3 turns. So do me a favor here. This could actually bump up to, it's a 50% raise. This could bump up to 6. You can leave supreme, but bump it to 6. 6 is really good because he gets another stack. Passive skill is just a support passive, right? And he's old enough, well, I guess he snuck in with Prepare for Battle. Again, this wasn't really a thing. I believe the Turles Int type came out with it. I think he was the first. At that point, there was just a few units that had it. Maybe it was the Meta Cooler Goku. Some of those units. Anyways, again, we're looking at some old units here. So he's got, again, the same ideal link set, Super Saiyan, Golden Warrior, Prepare for Battle, ideally Fierce Battle, but whatever. If he actually picks up, on a side note, if he picks up Rebirth, that actually is really good for Vegeta's family because Vegeta's family has a lot of very good Rebirth units, and he's already Super Saiyan 2. And if we take a look at the characters that are Super Saiyan 2 for Trunks', he's actually going to be in a really good position because I don't think there's any more, in fact, actually. I think he's the only one. Yeah, he is the only one. So he'll be applicable on any team, basically. Even though it's debatable as to whether or not these cards should be considered Super Saiyan 2 because they're not calling them Rage. But, okay. Because we know Trunks definitely did use Super Saiyan 2 in that arc, but whatever. So anyways, having Super Saiyan 2 Trunks in the name means that he'll be applicable to anything. Now, for the passive, I think the most likely scenario is 3 key and 40%. Actually, you know what? I don't think he's going to go 3 key 40. I think he would just go 40 and maybe 2 key. But the thing is, like, if we look at some more modern units that just got awakenings that are support type units, like the Int Mai, for example, and let's just kind of use her as a barometer. So she picks up a category bonus for 2 key and 40%. Now, they could give him a category bonus, maybe Vegeta's family, right? Maybe Vegeta's family or time travelers or hybrids, one of those 3 categories, whatever the case is, and they can literally give him 2 key 40%. But if they don't give him a category bonus, I do think they'll just leave him at 40%. But the thing about not giving him a category bonus is it's kind of left up to us to decide, at least right now, of course, until it actually happens, how the passive support would wind up functioning. Would it be just STR types? If it's just STR types, that largely inhibits his usability, so I do think he would get maybe even higher than 40%, right? Because if he's all types, though, I do think there's a chance he maybe gets 30 or 35, for that matter. It's not guaranteed he'd get 40. I think that's maybe a little too versatile, right? But one thing's for sure, I do think he's going to get a secondary mechanic. He's not getting stuns. He'll most likely get a start of the turn attack and defense boost, and they'll just call it a day, man. That's what I would do. All right, so the last little thing is we're looking at some more characters that are not even available on banners anymore. I believe this unit wasn't on a banner since 2017 as well. I'd have to go back and double check the numbers Renzi sent me, but he sent me some stuff, and a lot of these units are not eligible anymore. So we have a look at Mira. So Mira only gets 70% when performing a super. Supreme damage. Give him supreme damage 3 turns, attack raise, or immense. Immense ideally, right? But I'm just trying to keep it within the confines of what the game would actually do. 120% attack on super attack is perfect. And maybe give him something like 40 or 50% defense, and you can call it a day. He's perfectly fine with that. He's got a good link set. He's perfectly fine with that. Nightmare, Fear and Faith, Kamehameha. He's got a good link set. He'd be perfect. We look here at Demigra. He's actually, I believe, still on banners, but still doesn't awaken. He does a completely outdated thing. He stuns, and then he stuns. The super attack one is for 2 turns. The passive is for 1 turn. He doesn't do anything anymore, basically. He's trash. Basically trash. And you'll still pull him to this day. Please awaken this man. He has Revival. He has Fear and Faith. He's got some good categories, too. He can be on Time Travelers and function very well alongside some Zamasu-type units, right? ROG, same type of deal because he has godly power. It doesn't matter, right? So what I would do is, he obviously is going to keep his stun chance. I think he goes immense. I think this is probably the one I'm pretty sure would go immense. Hopefully they, like, I don't know how they would awaken any of these units, but like Demigra has some potential. Like Demigra has like 3 forms they could actually put into the game, right? So I don't know. Anyways, immense I think keeps the stun chance. It probably goes up to a medium chance to stun on super instead of rare. 50% chance to stun the enemy. Here it's only 40%, but I think they upped the rate to 50, and even though it's high chance, right? And then I think he gets 100% attack and defense at the start of the turn, and then another bonus in there, something I don't know what it is, but some other bonus to make him really good. Because then you have a card that's basically unusable, and you make him one of the better cards you can possibly use. Maybe even key at the start of the turn. Like, he can do extreme class allies bonus of like 2 key or something like that. Not that they need it because all the Goku blacks, but bear with me. For the final card here, speaking of key, we got to take a look at Toa. So Toa here, extreme damage and greatly lowers defense. That, Supreme, please. Supreme. If they really want to make this card good, they do greatly lowers attack and defense. That's incredibly uncommon in this game, though, so probably isn't going to happen. So I'll probably just say greatly lowering is fine, you know. So reducing it by 50 for 3 turns is good. Key +2 for all allies. This is going to go up to probably 3 and I'd say 30%. 3 key and 30% for all allies. They could do something like the Darkness Toa and allow for her to, because this card is a support unit like Darkness Toa. They could allow for her to do that max heal thing that the Darkness Toa does. Other than that, I think at this point, you need to either give her dodges. You can give her dodges based on a number of maybe Time Travelers category allies or something like that. Peppy Gal's category allies, probably not. I think Time Travelers fits way better as far as the thematics of this character. So you can give her something like that, and she's perfectly fine. A dodge chance, great reducing on defense. Also has the support, and then she's good. I think that's good. I think she fits everywhere she needs to be, perfectly fine in that scenario. And then you have a unit that actually would make amazing sense on a lot of different categories. Well, the category she's applicable to. Like, she immediately becomes one of the best Peppy Gal units. Immediately becomes very good as a support option on Time Travelers. Debatable as to whether or not she'd be like the best, because Time Travelers has a number of good ones, right? They have the Easy A, Vegeta, and Trunks. They have Supreme Opie of Time. They have a lot of units, long story short. But she's good. They have yeah, she's good, but that's what I like to see. Thank you all for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Hit that subscribe if you were new, and I'll catch all of you guys in the next one.